What's up, Polytopians? It's the Big BURR. Welcome back to another Polytopia Replay breakdown. You may not know what Polytopia is, but good thing I do. Polytopia is a civilization turn-based strategy game. You can essentially think of it as 3D chess. If you want a more complete explanation of what the game is, feel free to check out my first video where I explain what the game is in a little more detail. Now, let's hop right into the video. So this is another random 1v1 between myself and Paul, a random guy online, pretty good player. So let's hop right into it. On the west side of the map, we got Paul spawning up here with the regular Bardoor skin, and you see me clean with the drippy Bardoor bear skin. You know, it's only right. Standard opening here, both hunt some resources, take workshop. I find a village there, he finds a village, he finds another village, and I find another village. So pretty even right now. I go ahead and take another workshop to get my economy up, and he does an interesting strategy here. I don't know if you noticed that he's able to already have mathematics on turn 4. He basically didn't spend any of his resources outside of that early workshop, saved his stars, and then takes mathematics already early in the game. So a bit of a mathematics rush. You drop in the comments, do you think it's wise to kind of save those early stars to rush to get mathematics, which is a very, very powerful tool in the early game, allowing you to build the lumber yards and get catapults early on versus myself, where all I could do is chop forests and build lumber huts. So very interesting here. Back to Paul's turn, doing some work here, getting his economy up, quickly catching up. He's at 14 stars, 15 stars, getting some resources, upgrades this base as well, and chooses to get a city wall because he sees I'm right here. So playing defensive early, and if you see, his economy is already at 15 stars per turn. So that early rush to mathematics really seems to be working out for him quite well versus myself. I'm only at 8 stars per turn, and I went for riders, which isn't gonna help my economy, and climbing. He's doubling my economy. I attack this base, move to siege this one, and you can see he's taking an early lead, almost 400 points ahead of me already. So the mathematics rush maybe a meta strat. It may be a meta strat. So I finally get mathematics and go ahead and capture these 2 bases, which each base you capture makes the upgrades more expensive. So that's another reason why getting mathematics early on, while it's cheap, it's going to be a lot more cost effective versus as you capture more bases, that upgrade, each upgrade costs more and more and more. Just like inflation. He scouts my middle base here, and this is going to be a very important base in this game, right? It's pretty much right on the border between us two. I go ahead and upgrade. I captured this base with my rider, but it only has 5 HP, so he wisely destroys that. I get the scout in the mountain, and as you can see right now, I'm starting this turn with 14 stars per turn, and he has 16. So pretty, I'm catching up a little bit, but he has had more stars coming in per turn for a little bit. So far the strategy seems pretty effective. So I go ahead, attack with that rider, step it back, and I'm like, okay, we're pretty even, right? I just took the first place lead. I actually have a pretty significant lead, about 700 points, but I'm not really feeling confident in my position, right? I see he has the defender, I see he has the city wall here, he has a rider here. I'm assuming he has at least 1 or 2 bases back here. I got these 4 bases very low level, or 5 bases here. I'm spending a lot of money on my army, playing very aggressive. I need to build my economy up, so I'm on the search for more bases. Meanwhile, over here, he takes this base, gets rid of that warrior in the mountain, begins to upgrade this base, and I think he's gonna get another city wall here. So on the defensive front, city wall, defender. So I hit that with a catapult to get him up out of there. Go ahead, get roads to connect these bases and try to get some upgrades, right? He's at 20 stars per turn. He gets roads of his own now, and he has a lot of resources back here. He's moving that army up, defending quite well, and I go ahead and clear out those units. I keep exploring with this warrior over here. I was hoping to find a village right here. Did not work out for me, unfortunately. And if you look at my bases right now, right, I'm spending a lot of money on my army, but I'm not upgrading my bases, and my economy is slowly falling behind. As you can see, now I'm in second place. He has a narrow lead ahead of me, but he's bringing in 20 stars per turn, whereas I'm only bringing in 14. Just mismanagement, right? Putting this lumber hut here where this could have been used later for a forge, which would give me more population, more points. Not connecting this base to get this base upgraded. Right here, I feel like this is a moment where I see he has a city wall. He has a city wall. He already has defenders on the map. I'm not going to be able to break this with my basic, you know, warriors and riders. It would be very challenging, right? I probably should have defended here a little more while I'm expanding around the outside. So spend less resources on the attack while I'm expanding around the outside and upgrading these bases to get my economy up, because that's ultimately what's going to be the best long-term strategy. So go ahead and finally connect this base, upgrade it, take the resources, and he is going to connect all his bases as well. Going to take population and get the first super unit on the map. The super units are here, and this is another interesting decision by me. I can only defend it from this one spot essentially, whereas he could have 3 units here to attack this base, whereas I can only defend it with the 1 unit that's in his base and maybe some range units behind it. Being kind of stubborn, always taking the resources instead of city wall. This is probably a situation where I should have taken that city wall. Let's see if that comes back to bite me. And this is another thing I should have realized, right? Look at all this water between this base. I should probably be thinking about going for sailing at this point, because if I can get sea units to begin flanking here, it could be a real problem. And I still haven't found a village on this side of the map. So now I send a rider over here to try to find a village a little faster. So we're back boxing now. He has a catapult. Eliminated my units, upgrading. He's gonna go population again and get himself a lot of upgrades. Taking resources, tries to get a super unit there, doesn't have enough. I get another scout in the mountain with that rider, move in with my catapult and my rider, and I'm just trying to get a lay of the land, take out that catapult, weaken it a little bit. Finally found another base, but look, I had to use 3 roads just to get it, and I'm just now getting to 20 stars per turn, using those defenders and super units wisely, taking out my army. Slides right into this base with the rider. Excellent play. He is going to continue to get another super unit in that base, and now this is looking really strong, right? You got 2 defenders, 2 super units, a catapult, even though it's weakened behind it, another defender, and he has those riders and roads to do offensive maneuvers like this. And because he sieged this base, right, he takes those stars away from me. This base was giving me about 5 stars per turn, and in a game this close, that is huge. So I don't get those 5 stars for this turn since that base is on fire under siege. So I want to get this rider up out of there, knock him out, get a lumber hut to get my super unit, and I go ahead and get another population growth to get a second super unit. I take the lead back ever so slightly. So we got a battle here. He has the advantage in terms of this defensive front line, but I have more bases and I have more of the map under my control. So let's see who wins this battle. So moving along here, we see he's getting some catapults in the back lines, defenders, and super units up front. And he's gonna go ahead and take border growth up here, begin to get population here, get another lumber hut, another super unit. So going ahead, and he gets another big boy super unit, and I find another base here, attacking with that super unit. Got my second super unit behind it, get another super unit. He's gonna move in with that defender and that catapult, finds another base up here, and he is making us just a strong wall of defenders and super units. with catapults behind it. Very, very strong defensive strategy, and he's gonna try to kind of walk me back here. He takes border growth there. He tries to upgrade that base a little bit. I go ahead and I find another village around the map. I have way more villages, but he still has a stronger economy by a little bit because he has much bigger bases. He's invested more into the bases he has, whereas I have more bases, but look how small some of these bases are, right? I haven't even upgraded this, I haven't even upgraded that, because I'm spending so much on this front army to try to break this strong defensive wall he has here. Upgrading this base, trying to get my economy up. He goes in and he is gonna siege that base with the super unit again, taking those resources away from me. And right now, that's one of my biggest base. And he takes this base as well. Finally get sailing and get a port, upgrade that base, take the resources, and oh my god, those catapults do so much damage. And he's finally expanding this way. Right at the same time where I get there, he sees myself on this village, and it's a ruin. That's gonna be an interesting battle in a minute. And I strike back with my catapult. I get a catapult over here because I'm like, hey, you know, I could attack that coast a little bit. I probably should have got this port up here, or even right here, because look, as soon as I built that boat, it can start attacking turn 1. I could probably snuck in, kill when it hit that catapult, or snuck in, siege this base which has no defense. So another missed opportunity. And as you can see, those, even though I'm technically ahead, these little mistakes you see throughout the game are just slowly building and building and building, you know, and that's what you got to watch out for. Now he's sending riders over here because he sees me on that base trying to attempt to flank, so he caught that at the perfect time, honestly, using those big boy catapults, doing big damage, moving these super units and defenders. And this is a strong defense to break through. He's getting another super unit, more defenders, and now he gets boats of his own. He keeps sieging his base, which is hurting my economy. Yet, even though he's not taking it, he keeps sieging it over and over, which is just hurting my economy every turn. And in a game this close, right? In a game this close, that is huge. Moving ahead, I get an explorer from that ruin. And actually, the explorer, it gives me a pretty good scout. I find out his capital. I see that he gets a cloak, so that at least lets me know, you know, he has diplomacy and he's going, you know, I may be under siege pretty soon. So the explorer wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst thing, but really. So moving along here, I take that base back, and again, just fighting over this base over and over. If I had a city wall there and got defenders, it would have been a lot tougher for him to break this base, and I could have, you know, potentially made some more maneuvers. Just getting sailing too late, and yeah, just a lot of little mistakes in this game. Finally connecting all my bases, which was pretty expensive to do. That's a lot of money on roads where I'm not looking too strong on the front here. And so he's going to get a defender there because I break through, and he wisely puts a defender there. He has one of his super units in a boat, so he's probably gonna upgrade that soon. He's attacking again with those big boy catapults, and he damages one of my catapults. He gets another cloak. Where'd that first one go? Oh, okay, he moved. I can even see that. He moves the cloak right here, and he gets a second cloak. So this defensive line is slowly pressing forward. So he keeps moving these defenders up, using those catapults, and constantly sieging this base. I feel like I've been fighting for this base for like 10 turns, literally. So I'm upgrading my bases, getting some more resources. This battleship is a real problem. It's a real problem with these two little boats. I don't know if they're gonna do too much to that battleship. So using my catapult, and I go for the night, the dark night. So I go ahead, upgrade this base to try to get another super unit here. it's not looking too good for me. He finally sieges that base after how many turns? I go for another knight. I'm like, hey, when in doubt, go for the knight. So he's using that battleship, and he's looking really strong right now, pushing that defensive line up slowly, filling in. It has a catapult behind it, gets another super unit, gets another port, knocks out that ship, still has a full health battleship, super unit battleship, has another battleship back here. He's ahead by 900 points right now. So I'm like, hey, when in doubt, siege that base with my super unit, and we gotta put in work with this knight, baby. Let's go. Oh, big knight, big knight, big knight. Let's go. Oh my, and that okay. Good job, buddy. Upgrading this base to the top, and look at how much money he has. He's attacking with the battleship. He sieges that base with the cloak. He attacks that base. He kills the knight. He's moving up those defensive lines. So that knight hurt him, but it definitely didn't take him out the game. He's attacking his battleships on this base. That base is basically gone. That base is basically gone. And I'm able to take this base back, which is kind of like a moral victory at this point, because he took two. He's about to take 2 of my bases next turn. There's really nothing I could do about it. Using that catapult again, I scoot that knight back because I'm like, one knight, now that he's spread out, isn't going to do too much. So I really need like 2 to 3 knights to attack all at once to really do some big damage. Yeah, he takes that base. Takes... Ow. Hurts my battleship. Uses... Ow. Ow. So I use the knight there. Use the catapult. Getting some nice knight chains. And no way he's gonna upgrade. He upgrades this base, saving that Park of Fortune. So that's also another interesting thing you gotta consider, right? Sometimes you use the monuments right away, but sometimes you want to keep a monument in your back pocket for the late game to be able to get that upgrade to push out the knight. Because that, honestly, if I could have took this base, I'm not saying I would have been able to, you know, kind of overturn the game, but it would have gave me some solid momentum considering his capital is right here. I could have began to spam knights or spam units and potentially start to, you know, hit some of these uncovered bases. So that was a huge move. Gotta clap it up to your boy Paul for that. And GG. So I GG. I get out the game and resign, and good win, man. Clap it up for Paul. That was a great win. As you can see, I kind of highlighted a lot of the mistakes I made early in the game. Not upgrading my bases, right? Being too aggressive when he had a super strong defense, right? Continuing to bang my head against the wall instead of think of creative strategies. I could have went for ships. I could have tried different strategies, upgraded my bases to get my economy and out economy him, since I had more bases for most of that game. But I kind of was all over the place, trying to be too aggressive to break down that strong defensive front, and he wisely kept that strong defense and began to, you know, send cloaks and battleships around, and was able to ultimately capture my bases and kind of use that momentum to push me back. I had some clutch plays with the knights last minute, but I think really saving that monument was huge, because if I had any chance to get back in the game, if I captured that base and began to, like I said, send units out of this base, I could have potentially, because all these bases are undefended, I could have potentially captured his capital and won the game if I was able to, you know, keep that base. But well played by Paul. I feel like he handled my early game aggression really well. He played very defensive, but he was able to use that to build his economy. And then he, you know, he made right decisions when he needed to. And that's ultimately what the game of Polytopia comes down to. Who makes the better decisions throughout the entire course of the game, right? Those early game mistakes led to my inability to compete in the late game, and he made very smart defensive plays in the early game, which led to his ability to kind of steamroll me once he got going. So tough loss, but you live to play another day. If you enjoyed this video, slap a like, comment, subscribe, you know, the typical YouTube stuff. Also, give me some feedback if you want to see different gameplays, any video suggestions, feedback on how to make the videos better. Definitely drop them down in the comments. I will see you in the next video. Peace and blessings to you.